Hey, it's Don the Auction Professor. Today I wanted to talk about Etsy in general. Now, we've been on Etsy for quite some time. I liked it when we started. I liked the atmosphere. I liked what they sold. I liked the uniqueness of the pieces. Now, the biggest issues I have with Etsy these days are all the changes that are doing that aren't helping any of the sellers, basically. One of the biggest mistakes I think they did was when they allowed new Chinese products to be sold openly on the site for a lot less than I can create some of the very similar things for. That's a huge factor in part of the decline in many people's sales on Etsy. If you've been on Etsy for a while, you do know that there has been a decline since they did that. Other things that hurt you right now are the forced free shipping on Etsy. If you're on Etsy again, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't do free shipping, Etsy does penalize you. Your views will be nil. You won't sell as many items. It's just a mixed bag of tricks in my book to get more money out of us as a seller. Now, initial costs for Etsy, 20 cents for 4 months to list something, breaks down to 5 cents a listing, which is the same price I literally pay for an anchor store with eBay for most of our items over the first 10,000. I pay 5 cents for any listing over the first 10,000 that are included with my package. So when we spend that 5 cents on tens of thousands of extra listings a month. So, I wasn't worried initially about the price to start with. But as they keep adding things on and forcing you to do this and forcing you to do that, it's become very apparent to me that it's just a big money grab. The new one here that they're doing right now is they are going to be forcing any seller to automatically be put in a program that forces you to advertise off-platform your items without, anything from you saying yes or no. Now, if you do over 10,000 a year, you're stuck. You have to do that. There's no other way around it. If you do under 10,000 a year, you're automatically put into it, but then you can back yourself out of that option and not advertise across other sites. Now, this is different from the advertising that Etsy already does on Etsy itself. On local advertising on the Etsy platform, that's what people pay for now. They are now forcing you, as I said, to go into the other options to advertise across Google or Chrome or whatever they're going to be placing these off-site. Now, I personally don't care to mess with spending my money on stuff like that. I'm more interested in branding and looking towards my own personal business as a separate entity. So for me, I've been kind of hesitant on all these changes, and this is pretty much making my mind up. We're going to have our own site, and with Etsy, you don't get any brand awareness whatsoever. So for an example, if you sell something on Etsy, somebody buys something unique that you made and they're wearing it or they're showing it to some of their friends are going to ask where they got it from. It's not going to be your name. It's going to be Etsy. I got it on Etsy. That's all you're going to hear. Now, I'm not saying let's just end Etsy and pull everything off, but at this point, it's looking more and more like you better have a backup for those items. Etsy is going to be one of the most expensive sites to sell on if they keep doing things like this. With the way it's going, it's just going to be economically better for me just to steer everything towards a Shopify that I run versus other sites because, again, they keep raising and changing the game in midstream. I know it's their site, but it doesn't show any respect for sellers who have worked hard to sell over a certain amount of items to be forced to pay Etsy another 10% of their final sale. So when you look at all these actions they're doing all together, it really puts a big hindrance on wanting to mass sell on their platform because the fees keep going up. On eBay, I pay on average with my PayPal fees of around 14% of my final value. On Etsy, it could be as high as 20%, and if they're going to hit us with another 10% possibly on some items, it could be as high as 30%. Now, take into account the Chinese vendors that are selling new stuff that shouldn't qualify as crafted goods on their platform that undervalues my goods as well. It makes my items look too expensive to want to go after. Other factors on Etsy that you have to realize, just like on eBay, is most people don't have a business background and don't understand pricing. So you're going to see items that they spent a lot of time on priced extremely low just so they can get the sale. And again, that undersells mine. They're selling hard-worked items for almost nothing, and it kind of makes mine again look like they're higher priced. So for me to try and to compete in that market, as well as at the same time my price for selling on the platform keep going up by incremental amounts because of these actions and decisions by Etsy, it really makes me want to think twice about doing much else on Etsy. Now we'll have to play it out and see what happens, but I don't see Etsy going back. I don't think they've changed anything that they instigated in my past memory. eBay has. They've kind of backtracked on things, but if this is going to be the given and they're just going to keep forcing new things that they can collect money from us just to sell on their platform, I may just not ever want to sell on the platform again when people do that to you. It's totally disrespectful to the people that have been selling on the site, especially when it's mostly going to affect those who sell over a certain amount and have spent, in some cases, years to get their sales up that high. A lot of people lost 20, 30, 40% of their sales just by them instigating the Chinese options where you can list, random newer items on there like they've had allowed that are related to this. So, I've really had some doubts on this. And it again, as I said, it just seems like a money grab. I mean, this is my take on it. You may have another take on it. Now, I know Etsy does have some niches that aren't on any other platform, but there's going to be a point where it's going to be outweighed by the amount of money that they keep out of each and every sale that you do on the platform also. So, as I said, we are looking at other options, and Shopify may be that because, again, we can brand it as our own as opposed to just being called Etsy when we sell something on Etsy. It's similar on eBay, it's similar on Amazon, or wherever you may sell. It's hard to keep brand loyalty when you sell one-offs especially. I'd be very interested in hearing from other Etsy sellers and their take on what's going on. So if you'd like to leave a comment down below, that could really help me out in making some decisions and maybe helping addressing some of these other issues with Etsy and their decisions. But that's what I have for you today. Hopefully that gives you some ideas, some thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button down below. You can also hit the bell icon to be notified if I post new content or go live. Subscribe and tell all your friends.
From outer space.
We come in peace to bring you terrific tasting space dust sizzling candy.
Space dust?
Wait till you experience the sizzle of galactic grape, orbiting orange, and cosmic cherry flavors.
Wow, the cherry tastes delicious! I'm sizzling grape.
Space dust sizzling candy. In your mouth, it's out of this world.
Far out.
Space Dust, available in outer space or your local store.